Yeah.
No one's going to that ice cream van ever.
I believe in a thing called love.
I'm going to that. Yes, please. That's growing on me. Hello and welcome to I Could Murder a Podcast. It's another Minisode, guys. How are you doing? Ben, we're dressed similar colours today.
Are we?
Yes, we are. Believe me.
Fantastic.
Trust me.
No, I believe you. Yeah, I like it a lot. I could see you throwing a few darts. Or tending bar.
Tending bar.
Bartending. Sorry.
Tending bar. It's kind of Sopranos-y. Well, that's what it was sold as.
I love
it. Dan, how you doing?
Yeah, very good, thank you, very good. I have another sinus infection. I feel like I've got something wrong with me every week, but
falling apart, mate.
who cares?
It's falling apart.
Getting old, approaching 60.
What's the name of the bit of a gypsy rose? Doesn't really work. Doesn't really work. Yeah, well, she wasn't ill, and you are. Yeah, Dan?
I'm ill, boy.
Yeah.
Big time.
Well, good luck to you, though.
Thank you.
Again, these are a lot of facial things today, Ben.
I can't see
You
him.
can't see it, but you...
I'm watching him through you, though.
You see it in the edit.
Sometimes I can see in the glasses as well. I can get a little bit of him.
Yeah?
If you angle it just right, yeah.
Tell me when.
There's his shoulder.
Oh, God.
Oh, it looks poorly.
Thank you so much for your support on the Minisodes. I know it's slightly different to our main series, but as we said, we wanted to stay active on the channel, and all the kind comments has been much appreciated. And today's case it's one that we did an Instagram post for very early on.
Early doors.
And it's the ice cream war, which sounds like ice cream war. Ice cream war! But it's ice cream war. Whippy. Do either of you guys know anything about this case? Have you heard of it?
I remember
No.
when... Oh, sorry, Dan.
Sorry.
No,
You go, mate.
please.
No,
I
you go
insist.
ahead. Go in the please.
Oh, I remember the
No.
Instagram post, and I know a little bit about it, but I'm very, very excited to hear this one. I was thinking about it on the drive over.
Ooh.
Got very excited. A little bit hungry as well.
Dan, what are you?
No,
No.
I haven't, I'm afraid.
No. So, like a few of them, it might split opinion, might banana split some opinions here
Oh.
with the ending. But I'd be interested to hear what you guys think, as well as, of course, you guys watching and listening. Let us know what you think as well. Very intrigued. The reason why we chose it, Ben, I mean, I think you picked it.
Yeah, I'm happy to take. Yeah, we'd like to break up some of the more sinister cases, and by the way, there's a very sinister one coming next week, but with a bit of light relief. And I feel like I probably shouldn't have said light relief, because there are dark elements, very dark elements to this case. But it's just, once you hear it, and the premise of an ice cream van turf war is just it's laughable, but not when
it's
things
definitely
go too far.
Definitely not a light case. But we'll obviously get into that. And next week, guys, we've been teasing it. Will be our first special episode, which we've been planning behind the scenes. We gotten Phil scribbling away at some drawings and animations, and yeah, we're very excited to bring that to you guys. We're going to be filming on location.
Yeah, can't wait. Getting out and about, out of these four walls.
This little cabin in the woods.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you know the parking for the cabin in the woods? It's so far. It's about 2 miles walk.
it's extortionate as well.
Yeah, it is. What do you mean, the cabin? Or what?
The
Which bit?
parking.
The parking, yes,
Yeah,
sure.
sorry.
And there's all these creepy trees with faces on as well, isn't there?
Do you know, I was walking in...
And a grave site.
Yeah. Birds.
Tweet, tweet.
They're creepier than that, Dan. Do a creepy bird.
Tweet, tweet.
There you go. Cockney bird, that one.
Hench bird.
Trafalgar Square. Go on.
No, I was just those trees, they like to talk.
They do what they say to you.
I've not got a place I'm going with the tree talk.
Well, hopefully their bark is worse than their bite bit. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's good.
Yeah. That's what we're drinking. But yes, we're very excited to bring that to you guys. We haven't filmed it yet, but...
Or written it.
Haven't we?
No, it's in the works. The trees, I got held up in deep
No, but
conversation.
seriously, you need to write it, because we are going to be putting it out.
We're branching out into slightly different content.
But if the roots are rotten, Ben, there's no point in it.
Kill it. It's going to be good though, guys. We can't wait to share that with you. There's a series of specials coming up, and they're all very, very dark. So we thought this week, let's do something a bit.
It's not light. Stop
It's not
saying
light. Sorry.
It's not light.
Ice cream vans. The jingle.
The jingle, yeah.
The pitter patter of children running down the streets
hate
to get a.
Say pitter patter.
It's usually a you thing.
I do not say pitter patter.
You said it the other week when Judge was in here.
He got you.
Yeah.
You did actually
And you
say
then
that, yeah.
you then tried to explain what pitter patter meant, because it's not babies, and then you tried to educate me on
You thought a baby could be 7 years old, so
that's fair as well. That's fair as well.
I'm teaching you. Anyway,
Yeah.
enough about saying this is a light case, because it's not. The title might lead you that way with the ice cream jingle, but it's very much not, and we'll get into it. But before we start, we want to say a big thank you to this week's sponsor, Manscaped. Now, Ben, after this episode, you've gone on a night out.
Big time.
And, I want you to look your absolute best, right? So I've used our discount code, ICMAP at manscaped.com, and sorted you out with the Performance Package 4.0.
Oh, fantastic. Has it got the crop reviver in it?
Oh, it's got the crop reviver in it, mate. And it's also got bloody these. And those in your...
You're joking.
And those, mate, are the Boxers 2.0.
Wowzer.
We were saying before how these boxes genuinely are the comfiest things we've ever worn.
Yeah.
They've stepped out with these. Look, I'll show you now. These golden boys.
Wowzer.
And inside, Ben, there's a jewel pouch in there.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll be getting your family jewels out later if it all goes well.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Wowzer. So not only will they leave you all sorted down below, but they also have the Weed Whacker, Tom, which is very good for the nose and the ears.
I thought you'd like that, because sometimes you come in, I'm like, what's up in here? But I'm really hoping you use that, and I hope tonight goes well, mate. I generally do.
Thank you so much. No, I think with these strapped to my skin, anything is possible.
Straps.
Truly.
How do you wear boxes, Ben? It's very interesting. So Manscaped hasn't just sorted Ben's night out. Why not have it sort you guys out and use our code ICMAP at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping? You'd be silly not to.
Absolutely. And you don't just take my word for it. If you disagree with me, come and say it to my face. These pants and the Crop Reviver are the best below-the-waist product I've ever used.
There
ever.
you go. Say it to his face.
Say it to my face if you disagree. I promise you, we're doing you a favour. Wowzer. And now back to the episode.
Right, guys, so we are going back in time to the early 80s. Your childhood, Ben. And travelling to North... Sorry?
Sorry?
That's all right.
No. 89, 90, 88.
I'm 89.
Are you 89 as well? Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Same year.
That doesn't feel right. Anyway, we're going back to the early 80s, and we're travelling up north to Glasgow in Scotland. Specifically, we're going to the east of Glasgow to an estate that goes by the name of Ruckhazy.
Ruckhazy.
And feel free, Scottish viewers, to absolutely slay me for that. But I've searched it. How do you say this? And this is what it said. Ruckhazy. So now Ruckhazy was built during the 50s, during the housing development boom. And this area was a very poor area of Glasgow, known for its unemployment, crime and poverty. Ruckhazy. I'm just popping off to Ruckhazy. Sounds quite nice. Makes me think of a hilly place.
Ruckhazy. Yeah, in the valley.
Yeah. It could be next door to Hobbiton. Sam, you bugger! Come back to Ruckhazy! Stop playing around with your friend Frodo. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it rings true.
It rings to Dan shaking his head, but it rings to us good. That is good. I'm in a good mood today.
Because of Lord of the Rings.
Didn't have to.
I
literally said Hobbiton. I think they were there.
Yeah. I've only just realised what I've done.
Did you?
No, I knew.
Smorg.
Fuck off.
What? Smorg? That's the dragon.
Oh.
Not Gollum. Schmeagol. Same thing.
Schmeagol. Sinus.
So first off, guys, I thought, what are you guys' memories of ice cream vans when you're little?
Wasn't allowed them.
Straight away. Wasn't allowed them. I mean, not the van, but the ice cream goods from the van, Dan.
Yeah, the goods from the van, I wasn't allowed to even approach them.
Even approach them, okay.
Wow. Yeah. Me and my brother, mum, dad, and the dog, or dogs at the time, all had the same order. All chowed down at the same time.
Can you tell us what the order is, please, Ben? I'm sure the audience...
It was a 99.
99.
99 across the board. Me and my brother always used to ask for an extra flake.
Ooh.
Never got it.
Oh.
But then we said, well, if you're buying them from the dogs aren't allowed flakes. Can we have the dogs' flakes? And they still said no.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Unless I'm remembering it wrong.
I feel like when I was allowed, I enjoyed a Knickerbocker Glory.
Isn't that a cake?
No, I think it's an ice cream.
I don't remember. I remember the ones with the bubble gum at the bottom. It's called a screwball.
Screwball.
And I think that's what I used to get. But I wasn't a common ice cream van goer.
No. And as I grew up, I remember the only one I remembered. I mean, got to get this in the episode. Solero shots.
Yes, I remember the lime ones. But...
Yeah, and they were supposed to be these little beads, but it was all frozen as one big lump.
Oh,
yeah,
livid. And I remember the kind of tapped-looking Disney characters on the side of it always looked a bit warped, and Simpsons characters would always look a bit eerie. And always found the sign "Beware Children" odd.
Yes,
because it doesn't. I know what they mean now.
Yes,
obviously, if you're going to drive past, beware, children are coming. But if it's an ice cream van which is mainly aimed at children, beware, children. Oh, why? Why should I be aware of it? because he's not going to give you the flakes you asked for.
Yeah.
And the music I remember is mainly Green Sleeves and Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut.
Oh, wow. Yeah, never heard that one.
No?
No.
So Green Sleeves mainly?
Mainly Green Sleeves. I feel like there was something out of the Grease soundtrack as well.
Really?
Popeye for me.
Popeye?
Maybe I'm getting this all wrong.
No, it could be Popeye.
I'm pretty sure it's Popeye.
Yeah.
That's Popeye?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Popeye.
Yeah, because Green Sleeves, I always thought, update it a bit.
Yeah. Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
That's really
For
that's
the little ones.
babyish.
For the babbies.
No, what about just Seven Nation Army?
Yeah.
No one's going to that Ice Cream Man ever.
I believe in a thing called love.
I'm going to that. Yes, please. That's growing on me. So back to Rickazy. When they would hear the ringing through the streets over there, it didn't only indicate frozen goods. There was also bringing in everyday essentials, food from local shops, which people couldn't travel to the supermarket. So it was also doing these things as well, which was...
Yeah, before the supermarkets caught on.
Yeah.
Home delivery.
Ocado was originally... Yeah. But it is also alleged that the ice creams are also selling stolen goods and drugs, such as heroin. So beware children indeed for that, I'd have to say.
Definitely.
The gangs kind of saw this and thought, you know what? No one's going to question the ice cream man. And you're handing over money in broad daylight. 200 quid for a flake? It is nowadays anyway, am I right, guys? Probably is. But basically, yeah, so they essentially was selling stolen goods and drugs through the ice cream van, and no one was really asking questions about it. And no one would suspect Mr. Whippy being Mr. Smacky, would they?
I bet they were ordering some very baked Alaskas.
If
I do.
sell them on that.
Sorry? Better Jerry.
Yeah.
In the cake. This.
It's the early 80s, though. And also, the thing about this was, so there was actually just normal ice cream vans going the normal routes, selling just normal everyday goods, but then new ice cream vans come on the scene and come from local gangs. Basically, what they'd do is they'd follow these ice cream vans, terrorise them a bit, smash them up, and essentially make it so, in order to actually fix and repair everything, that's going to cost them so much money, it wouldn't be worth their while to fix up and do it again. So they basically try to intimidate them and get them rid of that kind of their turf, essentially. That's where the turf war kind of comes in. So a lot of times, as I said, with people smashing the windows in, and sometimes they shoot the windows in, smash them in. It was more attacking the van than the people at this stage. It was more just it wasn't a case of trying to harm the vendor. It was just a case of let's ruin the van.
Yeah. Don't want to harm the man, harm the van.
Yeah, or the woman.
Tip it. Tip him. Tip him over.
Oh, that probably would hurt him. Them.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Also, I saw some interviews about this, and they would say, they pull up, and then suddenly people jump out of a car, smash them up, and then just leave.
So it was a very bad time to be an independent ice cream man, not affiliated with either of the gangs.
Or
and they still braved it.
They did. And, some of them were made, go out of business, so they went from feast to famine, probably. So as I mentioned, this area was an area of poverty. People were struggling, and if you're an ice cream vendor, you could earn up to £200 profit per week. And I usually joke about what that is in today's money, but I've actually got to figure what it would be.
Wow.
And it works out to roughly £650 profit per week, which is...
If I've ever seen a stationary ice cream van parked at the owner's home, presumably, they've always got nice houses.
Oh.
Yeah, there's one next to, the Cambridge Aldi on Babram Road? There's like a house.
Too specific, but go on.
Near Addenbrooke, so it's decent property, and he's got 2 ice cream vans in his driveway.
And for a fact in this fridge, it's just Viennettas.
Yeah, big time.
I hate Viennetta.
I fucking love Viennetta.
Viennetta's nice.
Oh my God,
I
it's so good.
I don't like the layers.
Should we get one afterwards, Dan?
Yeah, I'm up for that. What?
Yeah.
I bet I get slated for that as well.
Viennetta as well.
Last week's episode, I said I don't like the idea of dogs under covers, and everyone's like, dogs laying on your legs are fine. Yes, they are fine. You can have dogs laying on your legs and cuddling your dog. Absolutely fine. Even on the bed. I'm fine with a dog on the bed. But under the cover was my point. And everyone's like, Tom thinks dogs are bastards. I don't. I'm not judging people.
I can see why people interpret it.
No, I'm saying it's fine. I just find it weird, dogs under the covers.
I'm going to curl up in bed later on my side with a Viennetta and 2 dogs under the duvet. Yeah. Just see what happens.
Not see what happens.
I'll just...
What?
Sorry. No, we'll go... I'll go straight to sleep.
I can guess a position.
On my side.
Doggy. Oh. So sadly, this intimidation of smashing at the ice cream vans was the calm before the storm. And in December 1983, it was a normal day at Rickazy with the ice cream vans doing their usual routes. Andrew Fatboy Doyle was an 18-year-old ice cream van driver and was doing his usual rounds around the neighbourhood.
That's young for an ice cream driver.
Is it?
18. Never seen a teenage ice cream
He was eager.
person.
He was eager. But unfortunately for Fat Boy, they weren't after a Solero. And they opened fire on the van. And Fat Boy made a run for it and managed to escape. That was his nickname. I'm not just being unnecessarily mean.
It's that Simon Pegg film,
Run, Fat Boy, Run.
Shaun of the Dead.
So this attack is believed to have happened as Fat Boy wasn't prepared to start selling drugs for this gang, wasn't willing to give up his route. Basically, he wasn't a independent trader. He was still working for another family, but he basically wasn't prepared to go to that lengths. But as the famous expression goes, you can't shoot at your local ice cream man without starting a turf war. And tragically, that is exactly what happened, Ben. I hear that all the time. On the bus, you hear someone saying that, like, really? Crazy. So the acts of violence and intimidation began to happen on nearly a daily basis. The Glasgow Serious Crime Squad were not very successful at quashing the violence and earned themselves a nickname. Any guesses, guys? The Glasgow Serious Crime Squad. Is that your level, Ben, I think this?
Oh.
The Serious Chimes Squad. For the chimes of the music.
Right.
It's not mine. This is literally... This is
either.
history. Yeah, but it's your level. It is history. Now, Fat Boy Doyle was part of the Machete firm and would go on to ignore the continued intimidation tactics thrown his way. So for an 18-year-old guy, it's very,
bold.
But tragically, there was one that he was unable to avoid. On the 16th of April 1984, there was a frightener planned for Doyle. And at 2 a.m, his house was set ablaze with his front door covered in petrol and set alight. The attackers believed it to be just Doyle and his family in there for the night, but they also had guests. The fire burned violently and killed all 6 people in the top floor flat. The deceased included Andrew, Fat Boy Doyle, aged 18, his father, James Doyle, aged 53, his brothers, James, 23, and Tony, 14, his sister, Christina, 25, and her 18-month-old son, Mark. So this was all over just the fact that he wouldn't kind of turn and start selling drugs. Very tragic. And with a frightener, obviously, one would assume that that's just essentially, to show what could happen.
Intimidation tactic.
Yeah. Next level. So I've already mentioned the fact that the people were taking the mick out of the police for not being able to quash all this stuff. And after this tragic event, so obviously the public wanted justice and they put a lot of pressure on the police to kind of sort this out as soon as possible, and they were very much feeling the pressure. They went on to interview over 1,500 people, and the Serious Chime Squad weren't getting anywhere fast. But then a sudden twister in the tale. Probably my favourite ice cream twister.
Just remembered snowballs as well. Those little like oyster looking ones. When they put the whippy in the middle and it had like coconut shavings. My mum used to get them.
Oh, I do love a Mars ice cream.
Mars ice cream. Oh yeah.
I said better than the chocolate bar, the ice cream. So a man by the name of William Love came forward as a witness. He was serving time in prison at the time for suspicion of armed robbery. Perhaps he used a Magnum. He stated that he had heard a person called Campbell and Steele and others in a bar discussing how they would teach Fat Boy Doyle a lesson by setting fire to his house. Love signed the statement and then was released from prison.
Ooh,
which is immediately a bit like, bit dodgy.
Something's a bit fishy. Fish food. Ben and Jerry's.
I did have fishy on here. I couldn't think of any fish.
Yeah, struggle.
That makes sense there. And also, there was a man by the name of Joseph Granger who came forward claiming to act as a lookout on the night of the horrific murders. And he also signed a statement and was free to go. So So he's come and said, yeah, I was lookout. I was part of it. They're like, yeah,
so many people died.
Yeah, and he's confirming that they were part of this as well.
Wow.
So, of course, the police, armed with 2 signed witness statements, went on to make 6 arrests, and 2 of them being Campbell and Steele. And when Campbell was being arrested, he went on to allegedly say, I only wanted the van shot up. The fire at Fat Boys was only meant to be a frightener, which went too far. So this statement was recorded by 4 officers. Though Campbell's wife, who was present at his arrest, denies that he said this, but she would say that he didn't say that. Though it's a highly weird thing to say to the police. Obviously, Campbell did have some history with the police as well. So him kind of basically saying, yeah, we meant to do that, but didn't mean to. It'd be a very odd thing for him to come out to say. And it'd be a bit of a rookie error there. What also didn't look good for Campbell was police finding a map in his house, which was of the street where the fire happened. And on the back of the map was Campbell's and his wife's handwriting, and they'd been playing a word game.
Okay.
Hangman? I mean, what word game was you playing?
Back then, Hangman is a very good shout.
Well, I have a really shit game where it's a one word. You do like a sentence. Everyone writes one word. But it's just TV, so that's boring as well. Though Mrs. Campbell once again said she didn't know anything about the map and said that they had never played a word game together before, which, Yeah, it's a weird thing it's an odd thing to find and an odd thing to claim that's on the back of it. But the oddness didn't stop here. When the other alleged murderer, Steele, was being arrested, he reportedly said, "I didn't light the match." So both men were arrested for the 6 murders. Now, under very questionable circumstances, the trial begins. So William Love, I tend to call him Willie Love. So old Willie Love was questioned about the dates that he allegedly...
Oh, how old Willie Love?
I'll just call it...
When did Willie get old?
So Willie Love was questioned about the dates that he allegedly heard the police plotting of the fire, and his date kept changing. So he's saying, like, so when did you hear them say that? He just couldn't keep his story straight.
Willie couldn't get it straight, yeah. For the love of God.
He's been given a hard time, would be better.
Yeah.
And when Granger was put out on the stand for apparently being the witness on the lookout, to the courtroom's shock, he went on to say he didn't say any of his statement and the police made it up. He went on to further say that the cops intimidated him into signing it and allegedly threatened to put the murders on him if he didn't sign the statement.
Wow.
Which is a big, bold thing to say in court, obviously. When leaving the courtroom, the police would go on to arrest him for 5 years for perjury. So for anyone that doesn't know what perjury means, it's the offence of willfully telling an untruth or making a misrepresentation under oath. It's odd that they could nick him for that, considering...
Well, was Willie doing it willfully?
No, that's not Willis Granger.
Oh, sorry. Got Willie on the brain.
So, of course, Granger's statement was then thrown out, and Willie Love was the only bit of evidence the jury had to make the decision. Now, boys, of course, the prosecution would have other little arguments and other things to bring to play, but all I could find really online was about these were the 2 main things that they were taken forward, as well as the 2 statements that they made apparently when arrested.
The one that stands out is, "I didn't light the match." Specific, oddly specific.
So both Steele and Campbell were rather sketchy men, like I said, with a criminal past. But if you were in the jury and your main thing to go off was a statement from a man who couldn't remember the date, and the police have already forced a false statement, which verdict are you going to return with?
Innocent.
Daniel?
Innocent.
So yeah, so the jury deliberated over 2 days and came back with guilty. As I said, one person said the police made me do this, and one guy who is he was in prison for armed robbery has basically can't keep his story straight. The other thing he'd been arrested for previously, I think 3 times he'd been arrested previously, was perverting the course of justice. Okay. So Willie Love is not your guy. Not your guy. So another thing to note here about Willie Love was when he was serving time for the armed robbery, he basically gave obviously a very detailed alibi to try and get out of that, which spanned 3 days. And obviously he was found guilty of this. But the dates that he said that he had overheard the guys in the pub, it was one of the days in his alibi, essentially. And his alibi, he never mentioned once going to a pub. Okay. So, which is the kind of thing you would just mention. So he doesn't mention going to the pub at all in his alibi. So those 2 things didn't line up whatsoever. And then he would also go on to make another statement where he said the date that he heard them in the pub, and that was actually a date when he was in prison. The defence never knew anything about this other statement, which obviously would have been great evidence, and then this statement didn't come to light until 12 years later.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so
Wow.
They couldn't use that against him in this situation, which, is a bit baffling. It's odd how a man who's serving time for armed robbery and had 3 times been arrested for perverting the course of justice can't keep his story straight, but people believe him. Now, both men would go on to protest the verdict, and the sketchy court proceedings during their time in prison. Campbell went on several hunger strikes and once was beaten so badly by the guards he was able to take them to court, and he actually got a paid settlement out of that. Steele managed to escape prison a couple of times, and one of these occasions he glued and handcuffed himself to the gates of the Queen's House, Buckingham Palace, to bring attention to the case and protest his innocence, though he was cut away and brought back to prison.
Wow.
So it's in Glasgow, it's the Glasgow area, going all the way to London.
Yeah.
Gluing yourself and handcuffing yourself.
You've made it to London, mate. Get on a plane. Get out of here. Start a new life. No, I'm going...
Or just go and stay there.
Well, yeah, stay there.
I wouldn't be looking for you if you escaped from Glasgow and London. Yeah, they were obviously adamant the whole time that, it wasn't them. This had been pinned upon them. So Willie Love would later go on to admit that the shotgun attack on Doyle was actually him in the ice cream van. To this story earlier on, it was actually him. His sister saw him doing it. He confirmed it wasn't Campbell who instructed him to do it, but he would never say who actually told him to do it. And since then, Willie Love would actually admit he never heard any discussion about the fire. So this was used, obviously, in an appeal, and it was used as key evidence, and the court ruled his statement was inaccurate, because obviously he said, I never heard that. But they still upheld their convictions.
Who was he pissed off? Who was he wronged?
Willie Love?
No.
Of the other 2 guys,
yeah.
Campbell and Steele. I don't know, but yeah, basically, so this guy's basically said, well, one guy said, the police made me say the statement. The second guy said, I was lying. So the only things they're going off are these two things that apparently they said when they were getting arrested. So it's the policeman's word against them. It's just baffling. And in the year 2004, luckily, they saw sense and released Campbell and Steele after serving 20 years in prison. 20 years on a really sketchy, loose story. As I said, they both had a bit of a sketchy past, but 20 years, it's such a horribly long time. And obviously the people who actually did set the fire and killed those people have never been brought to justice, which is even more of a scary thought there. But you wonder, I mean, I didn't hear this theory, but we all are aware about bent coppers in terms of, and money being made and that kind of thing. Could there be links?
Corrupt,
Who knows? But stranger things have happened. But yeah, it was a very interesting case because, I didn't know a lot about it before I started the research into it. I was like, I didn't know how much of the case, after the arson and things like that, how much it would go into. But yeah, in this court case, literally baffling in regards to the stories there. And you have to really question Willie Love because he's actually known as Billy Love nowadays. But he's essentially gone, I'll get out of jail and I'll put these men in prison for 20 years. Yeah. Not really do anything about it. And he's just kind of got away scot-free. And last I heard, he was living on a long boat on the Thames. Love boat. Yeah, it's a sad case. Obviously, 6 people dead and 2 people losing 20 years of their life.
No justice.
No. It's quite eerie when you think about it, that sound of music going through the streets would have been linked with violence and drugs and all this stuff. It's an eerie thing. Like how usually horror films have a little nursery rhyme at the beginning. Or like a nice acoustic song just played in the minor key. It's like that. It's like a bit eerie and a bit off. But yeah, very interesting story, the Ice Cream Wars. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Very interesting, yeah. There's got to have been some corruption somewhere. Or if there was a lot of money changing hands, maybe a little bit of blackmail or extortion. The Chime Squad were probably cutting a lot of cornettos, cutting to cut the corners.
Cookie sandwich.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. That was a ripper of a case. Yeah, but whipper.
I guess you could say it's a cold case because it was never found.
Absolutely, yeah. Frozen.
And thank you so much, guys, for your continued support. If you are listening to us on Spotify or iTunes, want to give us a little review and a little 5-star rating on there, would be great. If you think we deserve it.
Yeah.
If you think we deserve it. We appreciate your support so much. And if you're watching on YouTube, why not give us a subscribe and hit the notification bell, because not many of you get notified, and it'd be good for you to be notified, wouldn't it?
If you imagine an ice cream van came into town without any audio, you wouldn't know they're about.
That's brilliant, Ben.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Our audio is the ding of that bell.
And Dan's parents would be happy with that, wouldn't they?
Yep.
And if you just can't wait until next week when we have our series of specials coming up, the next 3 Mondays, in fact, which will be audio and video, by the way, then why not head over to our Patreon page, where we have, at the time of recording, I believe, 69 episodes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot,
yeah.
Man. That's actually blowing my mind.
Wow.
Oh, screwball. Brain freeze.
And any support on there is massively appreciated. We also do requests on there, and I know the Ice Cream Van Wars has been requested a couple of times, so we've kind of inadvertently delivered to that order.
And I'm going to do a flash sale, zoom in on me, Bonds. Flash sale on posters. We're doing half price and they're signed. Flash sale. Get them now. They will only last, this will be a flash sale for 48 hours.
We didn't talk about this.
Flash sale, get some flashes as well. Flash
Stop.
sale. Sorry.
Stop.
Hold him back.
Half price, signed posters. Get them now when they're hot.
We must sign them.
They will be signed. Whatever they are, we'll have to
This
sign
guy,
them.
Dan.
Working your signatures, boys. But anyway, thank you so much for your support, guys, and we'll be back next week with a special. We can't wait to show you it. Take care of yourself, and most of all, keep doing what you're doing.
Well, unless it's using the guise of an ice cream van to be, illegitimate.
Never trust Willie Love.
No, never again. Well, I never did in the first place, but
Have an ice cream. Come get an ice cream.
Can you give me, please?
yeah, that was one of them.
Kentucky Fried Chicken and a pizza. Why are you advertising fried food? You're frozen. You idiots.
See you later, guys. Thank you so much.
Just gotta check my teeth.
Check your teeth, mate. That is rank. I think that's probably going to be the coming up.
Oh no.
It's just gotta be. No. Whoops, a daisy done again.